Thank you for staying with us on Daybreak. As I mentioned earlier, we're joined by Augustus Chalo Muli, who is party leader, NLP, Fred Okango, political analyst, and Jerry Minor, who is Kirinyaga woman representative, as well as Caroline Gaita, Mzalendo Trust. But before we get into Parliament's scorecard, maneno ya IEBC, Augustus. Now, Jerry, you'll guide us so that we don't veer into sub judice. Is it sub judice?
No worries.
But you have a matter in court.
Yes.
I believe at this point, Court of Appeal?
Yes.
All right. You challenged your replacement on the selection panel.
Yes.
On what grounds?
Let me clarify that I have not been replaced. Section 2B of the first schedule of the IEBC Amendment Act 2024 clarifies how one should be selected to the selection panel. It requires that the process be competitive and transparent. An election was held on the minority coalition, the Azimio coalition, and Augustus Muli won 16 against Kokimuli, who got 7. It's all clear.
Who
Nobody has ever challenged this.
Who voted in this election?
This is all the Azimio parties. The 23 parties sat under the Political Parties Liaison Committee. An election was supervised by the IEBC. The results were given out. We were 2 candidates, Kokimuli and Augustus Muli. I won square and fair. I was issued with a certificate. I'm the only one who has a certificate. So nobody else has any authority to say that they are selected in the selection panel. I am the only one.
Okay.
I think it's time, leaders become responsible and stop, what we call in Kiswahili, kubeba wa Kenya ufala. Simply because one has a microphone and has the media, should not go cheating Kenyans, telling Kenyans lies because we do not have a chance to respond.
So NLP is party to Azimio?
Yes.
Okay.
We are party to Azimio. We are in the coalition, Azimio coalition.
But why could you not discuss this kwa boardroom? Unajua, yesterday, the Deputy President, Kithure Kindiki, was saying the President's hands are tied on this matter. This is a matter in court. Why not reach an out-of-court settlement?
We have met. In fact, 2 weeks ago, a few weeks ago, we met the Azimio team. And, in fact, the big question was, why are you rejecting the person we have elected? The people who are refusing the selection panel proceeding are actually just a few. The majority of Azimio have voted for me and they have stood with me. In the last meeting we had, they said, even if we have another election today, we'll still choose the same person. So who revoked your The Wiper Party refused these elections because, I'm sorry to say, these elections had been rigged from even before. Even before the bill reached Parliament, the Azimio principals, just a few people, a few leaders, had already decided on who's going to represent Azimio. But now when we met as a team, when the Azimio team met, they said, no, we need free and fair elections as per Section 2B. And we had an election, and I won square and fair. Only for them overnight to give a name, and because they've got the chance to issue statements, they said, no, we wanted a different person. All right. Now, in all fairness, they do not have a right of reply in this forum. No, he's here. Fred, unless you want to hold brief.
Absolutely. I will do that.
Jerry, what do you make of my legalese?
But
no, that is good.
Let me respond to this first. Let me respond to this first. And I think it is important that we are honest. My good friend here, we have had meetings with him. I have been in this process from the word go. I remember I was in the technical committee of Azimio from Bomas, NADCO, until the process. I was actively involved in finding a way of how Azimio would get a suitable and competent representative at the selection panel. The selection of the nominee, Azimio nominee to the selection panel, it is true. The Act demands that that process must be competitive and transparent. And it doesn't say that there must be an election. It was selection. Now, Olive, I want us to be a bit fair. When the elections were done, where my good friend Muli here says he won, that's okay. But listen, during Bomas, the committee observed that the public wanted a selection panel that is inclusive, and the public wanted a selection panel that complies with the principles of the Constitution. And one of the principles was the 2/3 gender. All the nominating bodies that were nominating more than 2 persons to the selection panel, that is the Parliamentary Service Commission, the Political Party Liaison Committee, and Inter-Religious Council. Those are the only nominating bodies that are at least nominating more than 1 person. Those nominating bodies are expected to comply with the 2/3 gender principle. Now, when the Political Party Liaison Committee went for a purported election that the members of parliament do not even know the regulations they used to elect the nominees. Just hold on.
This is not a purported. It's not a purported election where you took part willingly.
The gentleman seated next to me purports to be the party leader. His real
again,
party
that
leader,
word purport.
purports, and I'm using these words carefully, has got a court order against him, challenging his legitimacy as a leader. And
I don't need to be a party leader.
Number 2,
elected to the selection panel.
You want to be a leader, so you be very careful. Number 2, this gentleman here
don't lie to the public.
Has
Tell them the
tendencies of lying to the public, and I'll explain to you because I'm responding. You know, he went to court, political party tribunal, and he was holding these for quite some time, enjoying. The matter was heard and it was determined at the PPDT, at the tribunal.
What did you say?
And when the matter was heard, the issues for determination were tabled. And Azimio cluster, because the election was done in cluster, the selections, was given 48 hours to go and select their nominee. He was invited to a meeting where I was seated. And an agreement was made that we are going to select our candidate based on their suitability, competency, and in ensuring that we comply with the requirements of the 2/3 gender. In that process, Dr. Koki, Ambassador Muli, Azimio, selected that. The matter was forwarded to the Political Party Liaison Committee. Then the names were forwarded to the Parliamentary Service Commission. Then, my good friend here noticed that there's a team, people with disability, pursuant to the provision of Article 54, went to court and challenged that process and said, you know what?
That is not before the High Court in Kiambu.
Yes. That was the active matter that was stopping the gazetting of the selection panel. But let me tell you, so I don't want to go into those issues. They are actively before a court.
He was responding, but
let me ask you
he's taking too long.
Let me ask you guys to press pause so that I can bring Jerry, is it fair, given this looks like it is an internal Azimio matter, to then put this at the president's doorstep, because the president has taken criticism as being the one who is frustrating the reconstitution of the IEBC?
Olive, there's a saying that if you see a tortoise on the table, someone has put it there. And I believe that the political class is holding the Kenyan people hostage. And this debacle that you're seeing, you know, someone going to court, someone purporting to be selected by a certain party, and then the same party claiming that, you know, this is not our person. I mean, you can read a lot of mischief in regard to that. And what I believe is that, because I know the underhand of politics and the games that are played behind the curtains, is that there's someone who is holding the strings. And that is why we are holding the president culpable, because at the end of the day, the buck stops with him. And what we are seeing right now, the matter that is pending in court that we will not obviously discuss for obvious reasons, and the push and pull between the nominees, it's quite interesting, and I believe it is deliberate, because we know that even the Kriegler report recommended that an IEBC commission should be in place. at the very least 3 years before a general election. And we know the history of this nation. So, I mean, let us agree. If we really pushed and concluded an impeachment of a sitting deputy president within 2 weeks, I don't see anything that we cannot agree on and move forward. So and right now we have the bread-based, I don't know whether it's bread-based broad-based.
Oh, man.
So I don't see why we have this push and pull.
All right, so you're saying where there's political will, there is a way.
Yes.
All right, just Caroline, I know we need to get into the whole parliament.
No, it's fine, Olive, but just to say that now sitting here speaking on behalf of civil society organizations and Kenyan citizens in general, I do think that the political class needs to get its act together. We've raised concerns about the delay in addition, to the establishment of the commission. We know there are concerns about delays in voter registration. Before the elections, we always, have these issues of legislative changes that come too late in the day, issues of funding for the commission, and it's been our hope. I sit in a platform called the Uchaguzi platform. It's been our hope that this house can be put in order because there are also Kenyan citizens that are waiting to recall their MPs for non-performance, and they have been told that they can't do this because IEBC is not properly constituted, which it is not. So I speak on behalf of the citizens to say that the political class does need to put its house in order because, again, we don't want to go through a marathon or rather a sprint towards the end, very close to the elections, whilst we've had all this time to put the house in order. And so they should put Kenyan interests, regardless of, the domestic issues that they have within the political parties themselves, they should put the house in order. Yeah.
I wonder, Augustus, what did you make of the remarks made by the Supreme Court Judge Isaac Lenola? A clamor that has been there within the civil society, a clamor that has been there even with the church leadership, which was saying there are people who are interested in, sending their MPs back home. So, but there is no IEBC in place. The people whose constituencies and wards have been unable to hold by-elections, and so their people are not represented in Parliament. What did you make of this? What do you make of this clamor?
What I can say is that there are real personal interests in all this. As all the others are saying, there are personal interests in making sure an IEBC is not constituted. Now, let me clarify this. This has got nothing to do with with Azimio and Wiper. The nominating body is the political parties liaison committee. They are the ones who are instructed to give representatives, and they've given 2 representatives. It's only the 3rd one that now Wiper refused. And that's where the personal interests come in. Because a majority of the Azimio people have said, this is our person, and it is all clear. It's very clear. They have got all the processes, everything is done procedurally. Only one party has said, no, we don't want that person.
Are you willing to relinquish your selection in the interest of the nation?
Yes, I am willing. And I've said yesterday I said I'm willing to relinquish my position. And even when I met with the Azimio team, I told them I'm willing to relinquish this, but not for personal interests of somebody. We know very well that the Wiper leader wants to be a presidential candidate in 2027, and this is why he's got personal interest to make sure that his own person goes into the selection panel. So
when you say not for personal interest, expound, what would that mean?
Whereby the Azimio team chooses somebody who's going to represent that team, not somebody who's going to represent an individual.
So what are you saying? Another election, although Fred says that is not
another election, another free and fair election. I'm willing to put myself through that. I'm willing to put myself through the churches. We sit down and negotiate, and they say this is the right person.
Fred, is that on the table?
All these people, all the team, this team has been talking about is selection. We want to choose the best person. Best person according to who? According to a few individuals.
Let me tell you. And I want to take you back, without going into details of what is before the court of laws. When this process started, the Act says that parliamentary party, in fact, the amendment in the first schedule that expand the selection panel, when you go into the details of political party liaison committee, the nominees that they present, they say party are representative of a party other than those in parliament, a parliamentary party forming the majority.
Say that.
No, just
don't lie to the public. I have got all the information.
I can
you can actually
counter-check.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It does not say that. There are three classes. The first category is for non-parliamentary alone.
Olive, I've always
These are semantics that are currently...
I've always debated here, and I've
point.
never debated her class. So
Proceed.
I would really appreciate
Proceed.
that.
Allow him to make his
Exactly.
points. Go ahead,
So
Fred.
let's not debate her class. Now, in this, what do you call it? The political party liaison committee, there are 3 slots.
Correct.
And in these 3 slots, there are party other than those in parliament.
Correct.
Then there is party or coalition of parties forming government.
Correct.
Then there are parliamentary party or coalition of parties.
Parliamentary.
Njeri nisaidia. Where am I looking? Tell me where to check. I will check.
Minority party or coalition of parties.
Don't
say parliamentary.
No, read the act, Bana.
Yes, that's the act.
So what act am I looking at? IBC?
IEBC amended act.
Yes.
Just read it.
Okay.
The first schedule amended.
Yes, correct.
So, when that happens,
Read it to us, please.
I'm pulling it up.
The gentleman before us was interested, and the Azimio leadership instructed all the interested candidates to submit their documentation that was going to ascertain their suitability and competency, so that they are people who are representing the minority party, as he says.
Yes.
Now, it is only Ambassador Dr. Koki Muli that presented her credentials, that ascertained her suitability and competency. And everyone knows that. The
Stop
other
lying,
gentleman
please.
seated next to me
Let him
because he's lying.
let him make his point and I'll
just
I'll
a
give you right to
letter
reply.
from his party. Remember, even his own party leader has got an order from tribunal challenging his legitimacy. He claims to be a party leader. He is not. Now, let me go into the issue. The committee observed, Olive, during Nordico, they observed that the electoral framework, the electoral administration and the system that the Kenyans would want must enjoy public confidence, must be credible, and that outcome is what Kenyans wanted to see. And in doing so, they thought that expanding the selection panel would give majority of the political players that acceptance, because that was the challenge. That was the bone of contention, and the public wanted that. It is on that basis that now these nominating bodies were given an opportunity, as per the act that was amended, to present nominees through the nominating bodies. The issue that my good friend here has, he claims that he is willing. He wants the church. We have had these meetings with him. He has sat before the leadership. He has said that he has no problem.
They have sat with
every
me.
Time.
Okay, let him just
every time,
so that he can respond.
Every time he appears before the leadership, he claims that he has no problem, and he keeps firing at the leadership. He wants to represent Azimio, the minority party, while himself, he is disparaging the same leadership. He wants to represent Azimio himself, while the minority, but himself is not suitable in the eyes of the nominating body and the Azimio coalition.
Augustus.
We are saying that he is free to go to court.
Give me a chance to answer
He
that.
has he has been before the court. We wish him the best. But as it is today, we want to tell Kenyans, it is not the Azimio that is stopping the appointment of the selection panel. In fact, I agree with the good judge when the judge said that we should be able to appoint IEBC now because Kenyans want it. But listen, when you have people like Augusta Zia, who every time...
Can I answer now?
This country will not...
Let him respond.
Let me answer. First of all, the nominating...
And as you respond, because I want to bring this portion to a close, I want to ask the way forward. What is the way forward? The country is demanding an IEBC now. What is the way forward?
The way forward is that the nominating body is not Azimio.
That's correct.
And Azimio leadership has been trying to push for their own people.
Who exactly?
Who exactly? Okimuli, yeah, wipe out.
Now,
who exactly?
allow
me to talk.
So,
the nominating body is Political Parties Liaison Committee.
Did they nominate you?
They are the ones who are supposed to. Yes,
did
and
they
did.
You?
They presented a letter to
did they
Assembly.
Nominate you?
They
did nominate you.
But Fred, let him talk.
So what happened? The leadership did a selection of Azimio. They selected the person they feel is good. But the rest of Azimio refused.
Who are the rest of
I did not elect myself.
Who are the rest
I
of
was
Azimio?
elected by 16 members of Azimio.
Okay.
Koki,
Okay.
Muli,
That
only
vote.
But
got
if you were
7.
to say,
Yes.
I mean, you can't. You would have to
Now
substantiate.
he's the heckler now.
You'd have to
He's the
substantiate
heckler now.
that
He's the
allegation.
heckler now.
Yeah.
I will.
So let's say this is what under the bridge.
Yes.
What
So-
are you telling Kenyans this morning? They are saying tunataka IEBC saa hata
Correct.
jana tulikuwa tunaitaka jana.
Yes. Wambie, what I'm saying, our leadership was Azimio, they are trying to put a candidate down the throats of PPLC. Now, what to Azimio, the rest of Azimio has said no.
What are you committing to?
I'm committing
To resolve this impasse.
I'm committed to resolve this even today or even tomorrow. Tukutane, unasikia? This is the kind of language. This is the kind of people I object.
Okay.
This
You say
reflects the
tukutane?
leadership of Azimio. They
Proceed,
feel
yes.
everybody else is less than them.
Okay.
But the rest of Azimio has said no.
Okay.
Huyu, hata kama ni nani, hata kama wamepeleka kotini, nitolewe kama party leader, this is the guy who's going to represent us at the selection panel.
So unasema
I'm willing to
tukutane?
sit today, tukutane, mbele ya makanisa, tuchague an independent person ambaye hata is not going to be there for Kalonzo. He's going to be there for the entire Azimio.
So you're
Azimio
saying-
has 23 parties.
You're saying the parties should vote, and you're saying the process should be overseen by the church.
Yes. Because we want to get out of this mess.
Okay.
I've been elected, and I'm willing
Olive.
to leave that position.
Olive, just
Fred.
1 minute.
Yes,
So that-
1 minute so that we take a break
No, you
and
can't.
bring this
It's
conversation
not his
to a
show.
close.
So it's not your
Because
show.
Caroline
They
has a
have-
report
Olive,
that she would like us to get
agree.
into.
I appreciate Augustus Moli's gesture. And I think he has realized that this country is bigger than him. Thank you for doing that.
It is,
Number
yes.
2, I think in all fairness, in looking at the latest documentation before Parliamentary Service Commission, his name is not before Parliamentary Service Commission.
My name is there.
The name that is, and I'll give you those documentation. The
Fred, you
name that
said
is there.
a minute, yeah.
You know, Olive, I have been in this process from the word go, and I know what I'm saying.
Manipulating it from the word go.
What
Augustus, let him
we
conclude
are
his
asking,
point.
what we are asking, and what Kenyans want. The people of Kenya want an IEBC selection panel that is inclusive. They want an IEBC selection panel that conforms with the constitutional principle of 2/3 gender, that conforms with the constitutional principle of even people with disability, as those before court are saying.
Okay, all right.
I am asking my good friend here, please approach your party, clear with your party that has disowned you, then approach your coalition. If it's Azimio, then Azimio will listen to you. But when you come here and start shouting and desperate in the leadership, I don't think they will listen to you. And I want to assure the people of Kenya that in the due course, for us, we believe in this country. And we believe that having an IEBC now is important. I have listened to other political players blaming the president. This thing is not before the president. This thing is before busybodies in court. Please, withdraw the cases, come to the boardroom, negotiate your way. Let's have an IEBC that is functional, that enjoys public confidence, that is credible. Because the outcome of the election that we are looking forward to must be credible.
Or yeah.
When we form a coalition like Azimio, the most important thing is that we do not relinquish our power. We do not relinquish our autonomy. So when we go to Azimio, we go there as parties. So there's nothing like leadership, discrediting the leadership. No, I come to Azimio as National Liberal Party, and I have my voice. Now, when some leaders in Azimio say, you must listen to us, It's not that, it's the opposite. The leadership must listen to the rest of Azimio. Okay. And that's what they do not want to do now. Right. They're saying, because we are the leaders, we have decided it's Kokimuli. Okay. And the members are saying, no, we are the members, we are saying it's Augustus Muli.
All right. So we'll allow you to have this conversation behind the tent and come and give us a way forward.
They need to have a box.
We have had it. They have even offered to bribe me. I have refused.
Those are allegations.
Yes, both of you have made very serious allegations here, but have not substantiated.
May I can substantiate mine. The gentleman
I can substantiate. I've got a recording. They even offered me ambassador positions, Pompey's position.
You turned them down?
No. I have said no.
You turned them down?
I've turned them down because I'm representing Azimio. This is the kind of integrity I'm talking about.
Who offered you those positions?
The leadership we are talking about.
Who is the leadership?
In his presence.
Who is the leadership?
In his presence.
All right. Let's leave it there. Let's leave it there. We take a break.
Just 1 minute.
No, because Fred, we need to really move on from this.
But I want to tell him that please sort your house.
All right. Thank you very much, gentlemen. We will have to relinquish Augustus Chalo Muli to Hot 96. So if you'd like to hear more, do tune in there. But when we come back from the break, we get into the Mzalendo Trust Report Scorecard 2024 for Parliament. So stay tuned.
As we do that, can you guys put the country first?